Sorry, I am running late. A lot late. I just got to talking with our handyman who showed up at about 4:15 and didn't realize it was already 4:45. 4:49 it is. So, without welcome to Cooped Up Live, should I say. It's just a daily-ish, well, lately, like weekly-ish broadcast where I just talk about whatever I want to talk about. While we're waiting on folks to join, don't forget that coopedup.com is my website. You can check that out at any time. I'm Cooped Up is my handle in all the social places. Would love a follow wherever you are, particularly if you're on the Instagrams and wherever you watch or listen to this. It is broadcast on Facebook Live, both on my personal and my Cooped Up page, YouTube Live, and then rebroadcast in audio format on all of the major podcasting platforms. Be sure to click the bell, subscribe button, whatever it is, so that you don't miss a second. Hey, Mama, how are ya? Hey, Eric. Eric, you and my sister texted me at the same time, like, no show today again? That would have been like a week of no shows. And look, I've got a little friend here, my little OGP, my Olive Garden pour. I hadn't talked about that in forever. So cheers. I can't believe it's already Wednesday. That is what's blowing my mind this week. Today is already Wednesday. So it is Friday Eve. So tomorrow's Thursday, and then the week's pretty much over, right? So, and the kids have an all-day field trip on Friday. So effectively, the week is over tomorrow. So we are all good. I did not even have a chance to make a note card today, so I'm just going to be riffing from the top of my head. It could be a disaster. It could be fun. I don't know. We will see. Please prod me with topics, conversation, anything else like that in the comments. And by the way, if you comment and you don't see other people's comments that I'm putting on screen, it's just because they're watching in another place. They're either watching it on like my page or on YouTube or whatever too. So anyway, so we went to, I think last time I broadcast, was it Thursday, I believe. Oh God, kicking things all over the place. So last Thursday, I believe, was the last time I broadcast, because we left Good Friday. We left in the middle of the day, flew out to North Carolina, and then drove to Todd's parents' house, which is about an hour and a half away from Charlotte. Normally, we fly into Greenville, Spartanburg, South Carolina, because it's only about 30 minutes from their house. But the prices were just insane. And when you buy 4 tickets, it just doesn't make any sense. Plus, there's more flights. So if anything goes wrong, it's a lot easier to get to Charlotte, to and from Charlotte, than it is to and from Greenville, Spartanburg. So got there, rented a car, and drove, hung out. Todd's sister Nina was there with their little baby Adler, and her husband Peter was also there. Little baby Adler. It is amazing to me. This was actually like the best part of the trip, little Adler. So he was born right before Christmas. So he is now pushing, what is that, 4 months old now? 3 months old? Yeah, a little bit over 3 months old. Just the night and day difference from when we saw him. I think we saw him in early February, maybe. I don't remember. We flew out to California. Y'all probably remember this better than I do. And he was just kind of a dud that first time. Just, my 3-4 week old baby. There's not much to see, to do. There's a lot to smell, but it's boring, basically, is what babies are at that point. And now he's actually starting to smile. He's just starting to laugh at things, holding his head up. He has a gargantuan head, by the way. I think all babies at that age have gargantuan heads, so that's not a criticism of him. But, I just remembered something. Hang on, let me get it out. A book that I read that I was going to talk to you all about also. But so he was fun. Not a fussy kid. That is a well-behaved child. Only one night did he cry a little bit. And he was very vomacious. A lot of vomiting one day also. Just because he was just eating a lot, I think, and off his schedule. Hey, Carrie, look, everybody. Carrie's here. I should have had you on today. Like I said, I didn't even realize that it was already way past time until everyone started texting me. My ones and twos of fans, thank you. So, and we just hung out there, and we got back really late on Monday night. We skipped school on Monday, and which also makes the week go by very fast when you don't have work or school on Monday. But flew back. We got back at like 10 o'clock to the house. No, we got to the airport at 9, so we were probably home by like 9:30 and then got to bed and all of that. But we were still on Eastern time. Carrie's working, but she's listening. Maybe next week she can be on. Well, so I was going to tell you. So again, I don't have a card. So if there's something you want me to address, please throw it in the comments. I read this book. Have y'all heard of the book called The Four Agreements? So I saw it at Target. It was like $7. It's total like self-help, like The Secret kind of stuff, which I'm way into that stuff. And basically it's a Toltec wisdom book. It's basically how the Toltecs from South America, Mexico, wherever, Latin America, how they live, like their philosophies and all that kind of stuff. And the four agreements are: be impeccable with your word. And be impeccable with your word just means speak no ill. We'll see on that one. Speak with integrity. Only say what you mean, and avoid using words that speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Yeah, work in progress on that one. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. I do tend to do truth and love. So that's the first agreement. And so that's the most important one. And I will say that's the one that is probably the hardest for me, because who doesn't love a little gossip, right? Although I'm not super gossipy. I just like to talk shit. Don't take anything personally is one of the other ones. So basically saying that if people treat you poorly, it's usually because they were treated poorly, and it usually has nothing to do with you. It's not because they don't like you or whatever. Or if they don't like you, it's usually because it's something that they see of you in themselves, or vice versa, that sort of thing. But it just makes you immune to the opinions and actions of others. You won't be a victim of needless suffering, it says. I think that's very important. I think a lot of people don't realize that point a lot. The other one is don't make assumptions, which I think that's a big one too. Just be very clear, ask a lot of questions, even if it sounds redundant, like knowing exactly what people's intentions are. And that is something that I do at work a lot, and in life. And I tell the kids this too, but especially the kids, quote unquote, who work for me, who are in their 20s and lower 30s, of telling them, think about intention. Like when someone asks for something, or someone says something, or someone makes a request or has an idea, think about what their actual intention is. So if someone said, hey, let's say something more like this, it doesn't necessarily mean that they want it to be said exactly that way. It just means that's the directionality they want to go in. Speaking like a Southern preacher here, the directionality of the intentionality. And so just think about what they actually want, not necessarily what they say. And I always say that about myself too. I was like, don't just do what I say, do it. Think about what my intention is. So that's the third agreement. And by the way, these agreements, the whole basis of this book is that we are all as humans, we've all become domesticated. At birth, we're wild, and then through society and rules and laws and culture and how our parents acted and all that kind of stuff, we are all domesticated, and we come to agreements about the things that we believe are right, wrong, whatever. And this is breaking a lot of those agreements that are unhealthy and resetting with 4 new agreements. And supposedly the Toltecs followed these. So be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make any assumptions. And always do your best. And this is actually a really important one too. Always do your best does not necessarily mean do the best you can ever do. Like knock it out of the park every time. Always do your best means acknowledging your current circumstance, your moment, acknowledging in that moment what you can do, and just do the best you can in that moment. Like, so you would never expect a drunk person to do the exact same thing that a sober person does. You would never expect someone who was just broken up with to do the exact same thing that someone happily married for 20 years would do. You would never expect someone who, on the reverse side, someone who had like the greatest date ever, you would never expect them to do the same thing that just like a regular person who just had a regular old day would do. But just always trying to do your best. And that's kind of like living in that's some Eckhart Tolle kind of stuff right there too. Who I love his The Power of Now, and I can't remember what the other book is, but I've read both of those. I tell you, Mama Oprah right there has taught me so many things, and that is one of them. So, but the Four Agreements, I highly recommend it. It's a tiny little book, and it's only about 135 pages. So I read this sitting in the Admirals Club on the way there, a little bit on the plane, and then finished like the last 20 pages on Saturday. Super fast read. It is a little kind of touchy-feely. Like if you don't like affirmations and such, then it might not be your thing. But it wasn't too over the top. So anyway, the other exciting thing of the weekend is Miss Dolly Parton here. She released a new album over the weekend. It's a greatest hits album. So no new songs, but it is greatest hits. It's 9 to 5. It's 2 Doors Down. It's I Will Always Love You. It's what are some of the other songs on it? When things oh God, what is it? When the world is good again? Whatever that song is that she wrote during the pandemic, the very beginning of the pandemic, which I adore that song too. Obviously enough that when the world is good again, that's the song. Islands in the Stream. I've always wanted to sing Islands in the Stream as a karaoke duet. And so many of these songs, like I'm listening to them in the shower, just belting. And I'm ridiculous because our shower has 2 shower heads, one on either side. And we only use one side. I don't think I've ever turned the water on the other side. For all I know, it doesn't even work. But I pretend it's a microphone. This is who I am. I'll be taking a shower and I'm like finger over the ear, and head up because it's like right here, pretending that I'm singing in the shower, like straight up, like some We Are the World shit, like the We Are the World video. That's another song. I know every word to that song. But yeah, so I've been doing that with this. I'm sure Todd's like, oh great, here he goes again. Yes. Cheers, by the way, to making it halfway through the week. It's technically halfway through the week, however you slice it. If you had Monday off, it's halfway through the week. If you didn't have Monday off, it's halfway through the week. We're a little bit past halfway through the week, actually. And yeah. So what else? What happened in the world? Let me look at, again, I was so rushed to come on that I didn't make a card. So, oh, this thing with Bud Light. Okay, have y'all seen this? So Bud Light has released some of their Pride cans already, and I may be paraphrasing this, but their Pride cans for this year, rainbows. They've got is it Dylan Mulravey, who is a trans singer, I believe, or trans performer of some sort, is pictured on one of them, and kind of in that like that crayon marker look that sort of like the Obama poster was, the Hope poster, that kind of thing. And people are losing their mother-tucking minds about this thing. And first of all, I'm like, y'all know that Bud Light has been doing Pride stuff for quite a while, right? Yeah, quite a while. And so why are you just waking up to this now? Furthermore, a lot of people are buying the product so they can then make videos where they're shooting it or destroying it or whatever, filling it full of AR-15 bullets. I don't even know if that's the right number, but that sort of thing. And I'm like, okay, so you're giving them more of your money. You're giving them more publicity. Now people know that those cans exist too. Obviously did not know before because everybody has Pride stuff now. Like, it's just all over the place. And it should be coming out like any moment now for everybody because June is the month and you want to have it before the month. So, but yeah, I it was like, really? This is what y'all are upset about? Beer. So we've got kids shooting up, or people shooting up schools. We got this bank robber thing live broadcasting his killing of people. We've got all kinds of other craziness, but we're worried about rainbow beer cans. It's all just a distraction. But anyway, Carrie just asked, have you talked about the Dalai Lama thing yet? So I just learned about that last night. And I will say that I was shocked by it. I mean, just really, really stunned. So for those of you who don't know, and again, paraphrasing here, this is news-ish, so I may not get all the details exactly right. But the Dalai Lama, like the high priest of, is it Buddhism, I believe? Yeah, like just like otherworldly being of kindness and centeredness and all that stuff. So I guess he was having an audience with some people, and some little boy, came up to him, and he stuck his tongue out, and he asked the little boy to suck on his tongue or something like that, which I didn't read enough of it to know whether that's not a ritual, right? That's got to have been like just some weird thing. And Carrie's like, methinks Papa Dalai Lama is losing his mental capacities. Yes, I am like, yeah, totally. That does not seem like something any sane person would do. But I'm like, okay, like that's just weird. And it doesn't help the people who are like trying to defend religious institutions from the accusations of like sexual depravity, all of that kind of stuff, right? I mean, I am probably more anti-Catholic than I should be. I was raised going to Catholic church. And at one point in my teen years, Father Michael decided that he wanted to rub his erect dick on my thigh. And when I finally got around to reporting it, they were like, oh, he left after that. Before I reported it, he left the assignment. And I finally did say something about it. And they were like, oh, you too. That was their answer. And it turns out he just got transferred to another parish. And then he bounced to another one. And then he ended up on that credibly accused list of priests that came out from is it the Diocese of Texas or whatever, the Catholic Conference of Texas, that he was retired, still alive, but they were like, yeah, he was a weird dude. But yeah, Father Michael pinning me against a wall, hand to my neck, rubbing his hard business. He was still clothed, he has pants on, but on my thigh, yeah, that's, I'm not going to be one to defend the church that much on that sort of thing. So, Monica is saying, I think he kissed him and then did the suck my tongue thing. He said he jokes like that. That is, so was it I don't know. It just is so weird. And again, maybe taken out of context. I don't know. I know Father Michael was not taken out of context, nor was he taken out of service. But the Dalai Lama, like if he was like saying like grabbed your nose kind of thing, is that what we're thinking? He asked for a kiss on the cheek, then he asked for another on the lips, then he asked the little boy to suck his tongue, and the apology issued was horrible. Yeah, I haven't seen that, but yeah, I'm just like, and they said it wasn't sexual, it was just for fun. Well, I mean, I think there are a lot of people who think things are just for fun that are probably like weird. So anyway. But the drag queens, they're going to be the end of society. It's not these religious people. It's the drag queens, Distraction, as Aunt Pam said, yes. What else? What else is going on in the world? I'm looking at CNN right now to see if there's anything I missed. Because I didn't even read the paper today. I've been going so crazy. I have big trade shows next week for clients. And so we've been doing a lot of stuff getting ready for that. Oh, did y'all see the thing about the FBI has said do not use public charge things for your cell phones? And I think it was particularly for iPhones, but or maybe I just read it because that's the only one that I have. But if like at an airport or a hotel, airport, coffee shop, do not use anything that is not your own plug and your own cord plugged directly into an outlet. Because somehow some of these bad characters are using even if it's your own cord, but if you're using their USB port part of it, and it's like on clocks, at the airport, like on the desks, the little chairs at the airport, that kind of, somehow there's a way that they are able to like hack into your system, all of that kind of stuff. And this isn't one of those like old people like screaming at the sky kind of things. This is supposedly like legit. So, but yeah, Carrie is saying, yeah, don't use direct USB even into the wall. It must be the outlet plug. Yeah. I mean, we have them at our house, and I believe it's okay to use them in your own house. But if you were in public, you need to always make sure that you have your own charger with you. Suzanne is saying, back to the thing, if anyone asked my child to suck their tongue, they would be on the floor. Exactly. I'm like, what? And Carrie's making fun of me and said, read the paper. I don't read the actual paper edition. I read the Wall Street Journal, and I read online. I get the digital version. And I do read it section by section, though, just like, because there's sort of replicates the actual newspaper, because they have the best stories on the front page. There's always kind of a who'da thunk it type story on the first page, and I love it. So I'd read that. And then the Dallas Morning News, I used to read their digital replica, but I've stopped doing that. Now I just read the front section and the business section for that. But yeah, I read all this media outlets on Instagram. See, my concern about so this is my concern about only consuming your news from social media, is that you are at the whim of the algorithm. So it may only be showing you things you want to see. It may be actively not showing things it doesn't want you to see. Like, and people already complain about that, about the media. Like, they are filtering, like, they don't tell you what to think, they tell you what to think about, kind of thing. Like, for me, that's my even greater fear of getting my news from social media, to the point where I have actually gone in, and for most media outlets, I have unfollowed them on social media. Because also, I just don't want news on my social media. And then if people post it a lot on social media, like share articles and such, I actually go in and click those little 3 dots at the top and tell it to stop showing me content from that source. So that I just, even if like someone shares it and it's from the Washington Post or the Wall Street Journal or Fox News, or what's the Washington Times? That's that one that's kind of like not really a real outlet. Like those types of things, that it filters it out. Like it just does not even land on my feed. So Carrie clicks on their page to see what posts they've put up. Yes. You also enjoy reading comments, Carrie. I actively avoid reading comments. I think that is where society goes to die. I roll my eyes at people, and this is not speaking with integrity. Isn't that what it was? Impeccable, and speak impeccably. Is it drives me nuts when I should be on that I've Had It podcast, which is fantastic, by the way. But I've had it with people who make comments on Facebook or Instagram on the feeds of major articles, like they're somehow changing minds in the world or contributing to the conversation, and then it pops up. So anyway, Monica is saying, I only read the headlines. Oh, I'm just kidding. I don't read at all. Yes. Yes. I just don't like comments. I just do not like comments at all. And I know that you think that that's for the funny stuff. That's where it's at. I just do not ever look at comments. It just is, unless someone calls something out to me, I do not actively look at comments. And you're being fed Fox News. I do have people who share things that I may or may not actually agree with. I do follow people, have friends who are Trumpers and all of that kind of stuff. They may not be great friends, but sometimes I do like to see. So, honey, I don't read. I'm read too. That's Karen Walker. Yes, thank you. I saw someone ask something else. No, I've lost it there. So that FBI thing, I was like, okay, interesting. What is this other? I'm not seeing anything. Oh, there was an article in the Wall Street Journal yesterday, though, about there is inside America's most expensive trailer park in Malibu, and it's like right next to Cher's house in Malibu. There is a trailer park that has like $2 million trailers on it. It's right on the beach. There's that Sarah, what's her name? Sarah Paulson, I believe, is who the actress is. She has one there. There's a lot of celebrities who have them there. And then they were going inside them, and these things do not look like trailers. They don't even look like they were ever trailer houses in the first place. Maybe they started out as them, and then they were remodeled. Remodeling a trailer house just blows my mind. But this article, let me see if I can find a free link to share with y'all in the comments so that you can catch up on this later. Hang on. It's making me sign in. Here we go. Share with free link. Okay. So this link, if you do it in the, Monica, it is the trailers, 2 million, or the land. It is the trailers. It's insane. Or they sell for 2 million, which I'm sure a big part of it is the land. But this thing straight up looks like a trailer park, but just slightly nicer. But the inside of these places are insane. But yeah, it is next to like a $91 million house, next to a $100 million house. And, but some of them, actually, you know what? I can just share my screen real quick and you can see what I am looking at. Let's see, Chrome tab. Here we go. So look, so here's what it looks like, right? There it is. And if you've never been to Malibu, stunning. Probably one of the prettiest places in North America. Very, very exclusive. But see, it looks a little bit high end, like right there. Can you see? You can't see my mouse. But like there's like a clear railing over that porch and that kind of stuff. But then you go, it's called Paradise Cove if you want to look it up. But like these are the neighbors' houses right here. I think that the one that is on the far right, I think it used to belong to Cher, if I'm not mistaken. And why would I be mistaken? But look at this trailer house. How awesome does that? And that is a Marimal Radzner design mobile home. It's currently on the market for $3.95 million. My God. And also, if you're a Marimal Ratzinger designer, is that really a trailer house, or is that just like a tiny house, or what is that? I don't get that, but that's really, really pretty. And this is the property is a remodel of an older mobile home. So see this photo right here. I 100% tell you that is they put a steel canopy with skylights on it over the trailer, and then they ripped the ceiling off of the trailer. And there's probably nary a trace. See right there, you can see it. There's that like rib through the middle that was added. In the design world, this would be called prefab. I don't think so, Carrie. I think that these legit had tires and were brought in on wheels, because I have a prefab client and they are not. Prefab is where it's made off site and brought in, which is what a trailer house is too. But I think this is something different, because I do think this probably actually was, because Malibu wasn't always high end. It used to be kind of just like a down and dirty beach town. But look at that. I mean, look how awesome that is. And then this one right here, which obviously trailer houses aren't. It was sold to it was sold to a member of the Johnson and Johnson family. That's there's no way. But that's it right there. You see it on the coastline. That's the trailer park. And that's the cliff that it's so beautiful. The park sits among some of the most expensive real estate in history. Pepperdine University is that. So not trailer houses. That's reserved for Oklahoma and Florida. Yes. So I think that they originally were an actual trailer park at the beach. And just like you would find in Florida. And then people just started gussying them up a lot. But my God, that's beautiful. That's the steps to the beach. I mean, but stunning. That whole thing. Sports courts. Oh, you got a little pickleball. Oh, by the way, I got pickleball tournament on Sunday. I'm going to lose everything because I haven't practiced in weeks. But it's Sunday at 10 a.m. at Chicken and Pickle in Grand Prairie. So you can be there. I don't think there's a charge to go. I had to pay an entry fee, and then I think if you want food and drink, you can buy it there. But that's the trailer. So that straight up looks like that's what RV parks look a lot like too. But man, but look at that. Seriously. Oh, Jack Nicholson's daughter had her mobile home for sale for $1.1 million. Ooh, nice. But that's fancy. See, that looks a little bit more down to earth. My God, this is a really long article. So the link is in the comments if you want to check that out. But I love that these people. Oh, so Stevie Nicks had one. Matthew McConaughey had one. Minnie Driver had one. They're all former residents. I think that someone who worked for me who went to Pepperdine actually lived there also in the 90s. But anyway, check that out. When tiny homes came around, this Oklahoma girl was like, really? People, lipstick on a pig? I know. They're only considered trailer homes if they still have the wheels and the trailer base attached. I don't think they ever take the wheels off. I'm not gonna lie, I've lived in trailer houses before. I have relatives who've lived in trailer houses before. They work in a pinch if you live out in the country and just need a place and you don't want to build a house or can't afford to or whatever. We lived on a horse farm for a while and where my dad worked, and we lived in, I don't remember if it was a single wide or a double wide. But they still had their wheels on them and all of that, and you just build a skirt around the sides of it so that you don't see the wheels underneath it. Anyway, but they look like tiny homes on roids. I agree, Monica. Isn't that crazy? So, alrighty. Well, somehow I've still managed to fill 30 minutes without having any preparation. Sarah Paulson's just got written up in Architectural Digest. Wow. She said she did for her dog since they're going to the beach. Hers is tiniest. I did read that hers was like a few hundred square feet, I believe. So that's what I'm saying. These don't appear to still have the wheels. I bet they do. They're all elevated. So I bet they do still have the wheels. I bet they've just put a skirt around the edges of them. Because if you look at that first picture of them, they are all elevated. You have to step up like 3 or 4 feet into them onto a deck. So I bet they do still have the undercarriage on them and the wheels, but they're just hidden because that's what you do when you're classy. And when we lived in a trailer house, we put a skirt around the outside of it so that you couldn't see under. It also keeps shit from getting under it. So, which I'm sure is a big deal at the beach too. You don't want vermin and stuff getting under there too much. All righty, well, that's all I got today. With that, I'm going to say bye. I love you. It's important to know you were loved. I missed you very, very much, not being here for a while. It's important to know you are loved, and you are. And what else? I should be here tomorrow. I should be here tomorrow at 4:30 for another episode of Cooped Up Live. Should I say? I am so discombobulated. I don't have my time. And I have to get off and write a press release about something that I can't talk about yet. And it's exciting. Alrighty. I'll talk to you later. See you later. Bye.